Sounds simple, right? We go in, you get the briefing, I get the dossier she left behind. We bring what we know to the city, then go home.
Rick and Michonne are on their way back to the CRM. Will the retrieval of Jadis' dossier be an easy task? What will Rick learn during the Echelon briefing? What is the CRM up to and how will this series end? Hi there, it's Micha. Join me for a few minutes as we take a look at the series finale of The Ones Who Live. Rick returns to the Cascadia military base, claiming Michonne died saving his life, while she, dressed in CRM body armor, infiltrates the place to get to Jadis' room. After taking it apart, Michonne finds the dossier and destroys it.
Put your gun on the table.
In the Echelon briefing, Beals admits that they have destroyed Omaha and the Campus Colony, and he reveals his rationale. According to their research, humanity will be gone forever in about 14 years, due to the rising numbers of walkers, but also famine, disease, and, well, human nature.
With a billion petri dishes out there, cooking in the sun, waiting to transmit God knows what to us while it transforms into God knows what.
Therefore they, the CRM, as Earth's strongest force, must survive at any cost, meaning they will destroy any other community in the US and later on the entire planet, and take their resources to stay ahead of it all.
This is why we do what we do.
What do you do, sir?
We're trying to beat the odds, Grimes.
The next step for this is the elimination of Portland, which will happen in just a few hours. A fact that also Michonne learns in a briefing where they are all told that only 10% of the kids will be saved before the whole city is destroyed. Beale not only offers Rick the future leadership of the whole organization, but also to bring in everyone near and dear to him, to be part of the surviving forces, which made him hesitate for a moment.
No!
Before taking the wannabe dictator out with his own sword, instead of swearing his allegiance on it. As their conscience wouldn't allow Rick and Michonne to leave now, they hatch a plan to take out the entire evil branch of a CRM by using their own chlorine gas, some grenades and the zombified body of Beale as the timer for the detonation. Pearl, who also became a true believer after her briefing, almost foiled their plan, but ultimately our duo prevails. After that, the Civic Republic learns about Beale's plans and as a result took control of the remaining forces.
The CRC voted unanimously for emergency oversight over the remaining forces of the CRM,
which were not aware of the scheme and changed their policy. Everyone is now allowed to join them as well as allowed to leave, which finally allowed Rick and Michonne to go home. I was pretty happy with this finale, as it wrapped things up nicely and didn't drop the ball as many other finales in recent memory did. Was it a perfect finale? Well, not really, but it was a great one nevertheless. I was happy to see that, as expected and predicted, the show ends with the two of them being reunited with their kids. That was a great moment and of course jerked some more tears. Overall the episode was action-packed, had a lot of short flashbacks as fan service and was satisfactory. There were some elements I wished the showrunners would have done slightly different though. Mostly minor things and expectations. Here's a quick overview. Michonne making her way into the highly secured military compound looked a little bit too easy. But hey, she's Michonne, so I allow it. Then we have the trope of transporting a dead body and the container starts to leak blood. Made for some nice suspense, but it is one of the oldest pages in the book. Another overused trope is either the good guys or the bad guys leaving behind a clue to taunt their opponent, allowing them to have a chance to try to spoil their plans, which is here highlighted by Rick leaving his metal arm appliance behind in plain sight for Pearl to find. Why? Just hide it and she would not even have expected anything. That maneuver almost cost them both their lives. It was only done to have a showdown, which could have been achieved differently, avoiding that trope. And why would Rick even want to taunt Pearl? She was just a pawn, with Beale being the evil mastermind. If he didn't even plan to tease her, then it was just sloppy of him to present the prosthetic that prominently. That all wasn't spoiling the fun, but still made me scratch my head. What really surprised me was that I didn't expect the topic of a CRM to be resolved that quickly. I would have thought that it would be a longer fight in either another upcoming season or another franchise entity altogether. That was a little bit of a missed opportunity. Overall, the very end felt a little bit rushed. We end up learning a lot from a newscaster we hear talking from the off, and jump from the destruction of a malicious CRM branch directly to their return trip home. I would have wished for another episode to deal with the aftermath, or at least another 10 to 15 minutes in this one. However, the last scenes were exactly what I expected and predicted. Rick and Michonne reuniting with their kids. That was the important part everyone wanted to see, and they delivered. Even though there were some awkward moments where the kids embraced Michonne while Rick stood in the background, unsure what to do. All in all, I loved this reunion that hit the mark after almost overdoing it a little bit with the pathos.
I knew you'd come back.
How?
I believed.
Again, a few more minutes would have been nice at the end to see them also reunite with the rest of the group. I hope they didn't deprive us of this moment altogether and still plan to show this in a future series or movie. Before I close the review part, I have two last callouts that may be interesting for the future of the franchise. First off, how will Father Gabriel take it when he learns Rick and Michonne are responsible for the death of Jadis, aka Anne, aka Gabriel's former wife? Likely nothing permanent will come out of it, but still will make for an interesting conversation. Lastly, there was one line Bale uttered that may be interesting.
We have spies in selected communities throughout the continent and the world to potentially sabotage them, to influence their politics and approaches.
So is there a plant in Alexandria? Are there characters that secretly worked for the CRM, and will that be relevant at all now that that branch was defeated? It would have made for an interesting theme if the CRM would not have been dealt with that quickly, but maybe it will remain relevant nevertheless. And with that being said, let's get to the rating. It was another great episode that didn't botch the show, but also ended things a little bit too quick for my taste, wasting a lot of future franchise potential. But as this series has shown me, just because I think that now, future entries may change my perspective. I'm referring to episode 3 of this show, which I rated too harsh because events to come would later fill in the plot holes the show presented. Even Jadis skipping her consignment period was kinda addressed, if you paused to read the visible parts of a dossier. Apparently she made some kind of deal with a person we never met. That may explain that. Maybe there were some scenes that ended up on the cutting room floor. You never know. Long story short, I think this was a great finale that did most things right, though not perfectly. I wanted to go with an 8 out of 10, but the reunion with the kids made me bump it up to 8.5 out of 10 points. Looking back, I would have also scored the third episode a bit higher, maybe with 7.5 or even 8 points, instead of just 6.5. And as the show has now concluded its run, I am scoring it in its entirety with 8.5 out of 10 points as well, mainly due to the excellent fourth episode. What about you? How did you like the show? Do you agree with my rating? Do you think they will soon announce another show that unites Rick with the rest of the group? Or even bring characters from all the other shows together? Whatever you like to share, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, share or subscribe. So much for now, see you next time and thanks for watching. Beale not only offers Rick the future leadership of the whole The next step for this is the elimination of Portland, the CRM as Earth's strongest force. The CRM as Earth's strongest force.